an ex-AEW star joining NXT. We got a spoiler on a popular AEW star's return, and I'm not joking here, the Punjabi Prison match is returning. Find out more in a bit.
Take yourselves back to sometime in 2021. A man who does this a lot was made a big hoo-ha for signing a contract with AEW, and then he did next to nothing else apart from have his vehicle assaulted by a Bulgarian man. Who are we talking about here, Adam?
We are talking about Fuego del Sol, who's been chatting away with William Regal about potential NXT work. He said that Regal said nice things about him, bless him, isn't that nice, and that hopefully they will be working together very soon, teasing his arrival in NXT there. But he's also said that he's had conversations with the TNA. However, that was prior to Scott D'Amore's departure.
Yeah, that was during an interview with Fightful, so thanks to the big Fightful for the scoops there. It's an interesting one, because we got to see enough of him to sort of work out if he was good enough. Mm-hmm. He is good, he's a very good wrestler, but he wasn't really, given the old pusheroo, was he?
It's weird, yeah, because he signed properly with the company, 2021. They did the bit with Sammy, where he offered him the contract, and then 2 years later, he's gone. I don't think he really got to show what he can do. We know, as you say, we know he's a good wrestler. I don't really know a great deal about his character, what he's about, and maybe he'll be given the opportunity wherever he ends up.
Does that?
He does do that. That's good. That's fun. But no, best of luck to him, because he is really good in the ring. I just don't know that much about him from what I saw on AEW, which is a shame because he did seem good.
And if there's one place he will flourish, it is that bastion of havenness. It is NXT. Fantastic scenes. Anyway, a minor spoiler from next week's AEW Rampage recording because it was taped over the weekend. What are you laughing at?
You.
What? This is a wonderful
Bastion of havenness, did you call it?
That's what they all call it in the trade, the Bastion of havenness. Anyway, Riho made her return during this the Rampage recordings over the weekend. This is the first time the former Women's World Champion has appeared for AEW on TV since World's End on December the 31st. I know you said July there. July the 31st, World's End, in the middle of the year.
Has it been that long?
The match against Toni Storm, yeah, that was her last match inside the ring.
No way. So you can catch that next week anyway. It'll be good to see her back. She took on Trish Adora.
And she won.
Yes.
So that's not really a shock because it's Riho and AEW.
Yeah, she's back. It's good to see her back for sure.
And hopefully she swings that stick like there's no tomorrow like she's been doing recently. She smacks people with sticks at him. It's great. AEW have been planning for a new event potentially. This could be a thing or it could be something completely different because they have filed for a trademark on AEW Dynasty for entertainment purposes. Could this be a pay-per-view? Could this be a Hall of Fame? I don't know.
Oh, it's a bit early for a Hall of Fame, isn't it? Unless they do want to just honour people from the... They don't have to be AEW people. Maybe that Sting. Could they induct Sting into the AEW Dynasty?
Yeah, potentially.
With them going? I don't know. If it is a pay-per-view, it wouldn't surprise me. There were reports all over the shop, end of last year, saying that AEW were going to be running more pay-per-views this year. It's something that we haven't really heard a great deal. I know we're only in February at the moment, but it looks like the pay-per-view output is going to be very similar to what it was in 2023.
And that's great.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that as well. Yeah. I agree. And I think it's maybe a bad time to be launching more pay-per-views with the sentiment towards AEW right now. I'm not sure it's the best possible choice to do.
Is that just off the back of the ticket sales that have been well trashed on social media, I guess we'll say?
Yeah, that, and I think some fans have maybe felt a little bit burned out and won't want to see more programming added to AEW's deal. I don't know.
I especially feel that way about the pay-per-views because I feel like having those tentpole pay-per-views 4 times a year, 5 times a year, whatever it is, it just feels right.
Yeah, they feel special, don't they? You know everything's building to them, and sometimes they're left in a bit of a difficult position because you've got to play stuff out on TV, which is maybe pay-per-view worthy, but I think the pros outweigh the cons on that.
Big time. Speaking of cons, the con of appearing inside the Elimination Chamber is the potential of injury, and a superstar who appeared inside that chamber match, the men's one on Saturday, did suffer a minor injury there, didn't they, Adam?
Just before we continue, could we get a round of applause for the segue? That was magnificent. Speaking of cons, wasn't that magnificent? Chatting away on the bump. Drew saying, I said I'd go through any obstacle, push Cody to finish his story. That's what the fans wanted. Push Seth to stop being selfish. Some people are like, it's so you can get Seth at WrestleMania. I had to beat AJ Styles. I had to put myself through hell while while jet lagged, while this eardrum appears to be burst. He's popped his eardrum, which doesn't sound that bad to people who don't know what it's like, but it's rank and it's horrible.
Had that done to you?
Yeah, I've popped an eardrum before. It was really, really sore.
Who smacked you?
No, it was swimming. It was swimming. Horrible. Not in the Elimination Chamber. Worth it. I did it for each and every one of you. We're so close, so close. WrestleMania, we finish our own story, and I finally get my moment.
Big fan of Drew, like tying it into the storyline at the moment that he is going to save the World Heavyweight title and WrestleMania in the process. He's going through it for you fans, so he can save the belt and save the show and make the world a better place.
There's something great about a heel who doesn't know he's a heel. I think Drew's absolutely killing it right now. This is the best his character's been in WWE ever. Yeah, literally ever, isn't it?
The justified asshole, where he is being an asshole, but everything he does is justified in the realms of just him. Yeah. It all makes sense. It's made sense for so long now, and it's just been... They haven't misstepped for ages with Drew McIntyre.
No, and he's showing more personality than he ever has. I think his digital game, his social media game is fantastic as well, and it's just helping him out massively. Do you reckon he'll do it?
Win the title?
Yeah.
I would if I was in charge.
I reckon
it feels like time.
Punk might get involved. Or is it too early? Will they want Punk on commentary or something like that? And messes it up for Drew. Yeah. So he's got something to be justifiably upset and an asshole about in the future? I don't know.
I guess if one feud doesn't need a title, it is the one where someone prayed for someone else's downfall, and the downfall actually happened. Because Drew prayed for Punk to get injured, and he did.
And it's not like it's a main event, is it? Because if we're getting the Rock, the tag match, that's going to be main event of night one. So this Seth Drew match is going to be somewhere in the middle of the card, maybe
the
opening.
Secondary table. The table where the losers sit, That could be true, though. We'll have to see what happens at WrestleMania. Speaking of WrestleMania, someone has promised to get there who currently isn't booked for that show. Bobby Lashley was not successful inside the Elimination Chamber over the weekend, but he has been tweeting, hasn't he, Adam?
Saying, finally back in the States, Perth, you brought it. I'm sorry I couldn't come out with another dub, or a dub, sorry. But I promise you this, I will make it to hashtag WrestleMania one way or another, and I will be a champion again when, not if. Hashtag WWE Chamber.
It feels like... Sorry, go on.
No, I have no idea what he's doing.
Me neither. If I was just trying to say, it feels like Groundhog Day for Bobby Lashley when it comes to WrestleMania season, because this time last year, it felt like he was building up to a match with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Unfortunately, as we all know, undisclosed illnesses and whatnot regarding Bray at that time meant Bray couldn't appear. So instead, Bobby won the Andre and then appeared with the Andre trophy on the WrestleMania show, which was a little bit awkward, to say the least. But it just feels like we're in WrestleMania season. No clear plans for Bobby. He's got the new stable. I don't know what's going on. They're fighting the Final Testament at the moment, which isn't really slapping for many people, I don't think.
Maybe that's it. Maybe you can chuck these stables. We talked about it in the first video today, but maybe you get him involved in the the fantasy book stable fatal however many way like we mentioned earlier. I don't know. But yeah, they wanted him on the card and they wanted to give him a win last year, obviously, with that Andre the Giant thing, but it was really rushed and put together for obvious reasons, of course. Best reasons in the world.
You might be onto something there. We're just putting people in the mask. I think about that tag team match last year where Angelo Dawkins flattened Braun Strowman. No expectations head into that.
Oh, yeah.
But then it just delivered. It stood and delivered like a premium NXT live event.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Let's do it.
Yes. Right, this worst gimmick ever returning. It's the Punjabi Prison, everybody, but it's not returning to the WWE. GC Dub. Adam Pacitti. What are they doing with it?
They're doing their WrestleMania week event, Joey Janela's Spring Break. Cluster, you know what, forever. It's presenting a 4-way tag team Punjabi Prison match. So this has been announced. Whether or not this goes ahead is another story, right? Because it's WWE's intellectual property. They own the trademark for Punjabi Prison. So it could happen. It certainly could happen if WWE's lawyers don't get on the phone. But they have done it to indies before. I remember there was an indie in the UK who was running Money in the Bank ladder matches with the Money in the Bank branded briefcase. And they went, no, cease and desist.
Yeah.
They've got a bit of time to get this cancelled.
Because they need to make it different, but different enough that it's not the same, if that makes any sense.
Well, they need to make it good. Yeah, different in that it's good.
They couldn't rename, I'm trying to think, the Calcutta Clink match or something like that.
That
I don't think they'll get away with that.
Well, if it goes ahead, it's actually a dead cert to be the best Punjabi Prison match ever. I know it's outside of WWE, but there's not been any especially great ones, so best of luck to them if it goes ahead. We'll see on that one.
One of the teams that are sort of hyped to be involved are the Bollywood Boys, who do have ties with the great Carl Hayes we saw from 2017 WWE. So if you're going to learn from the great Carly. Just not in terms of a Punjabi prison, but in life in general.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, me too.
What's he been going up to recently?
Yeah, it was on. I thought it was like it sounds alright, like a little person's motorbike, but it was just a regular motorbike. And he's so mad. It looks like, remember those big guys who travelled round?
Yeah,
They're on
yeah.
The Simpsons. He looked like that. He's amazing, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
so funny. Sometimes I'll just click his live thing, and he sat there just like eating a samosa or something like that, not saying anything, just like food falling out his mouth.
One of the greats of our time, isn't he, the great Carly? Right, there might be a list up later, there might not be. There'll be definitely one tomorrow, so make sure you watch that one. I've been Ross, there's a news video one as well, go and watch that as well. Joined by Adam, and we'll see you whenever we see you. Goodbye.